Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video. This is the fifth part of the Explore Note series, and of course we are going to continue with the snow biome in this episode, and then I will move on to the water caves. There's quite a few water caves and all of them of course have one Explore Note each, so I'll show you everything that you need to know. So here we are with my current location. I'm just going to change the time of day. We do want it during the day so you guys can see what's going on, but we're gonna head off to the first location. It is a bit foggy, so my apologies if things are difficult to spot. We basically are setting off from where we last left off, and basically following the river around, we come to this point, to that cliff that you saw right there just above a waterfall. We can see that there's some bamboo trees. If we head inwards towards the mountain, we can see that there is a ruin right there, and some ways away from it we have an Explorer Note. This one is a Helena Explorer Note, and of course it is the Anglerfish dossier. I'm going to show you where I'm at on the map in case you didn't see the previous episode, but this is where I am, and the coordinates are 24.5 by 40.0. So from here on, we're going to go back to the north coast, and you can see that there's some sort... Actually, do you know what? We're looking for this right here. This is what we're looking. So, big mountain right there. This is the mountain with the blue obelisk. Around the north side, you can see this sort of structure. So, so there's like a pointy cliff type of thing. And then there's this one right here. Underneath it, there is a Explorer Note, so there's no ruin attached to this one, and therefore you can easily miss it. But this one is another Mayan Note, and of course as you collect them you do get additional skins. This is Mayan number 28. This is where we are at right now on the map, and of course the GPS coordinates are 23.4 by 37.7. So from here on, we're going to head to the north of the coast. I'm going to follow that around. So what we're looking for is this cliff right here. So this is the waterfall where we had a note hidden underneath it. We're going to go basically here and just follow this cliff around. We will see at one point some bamboo leaves to the left. That's what we're looking for. And one of the things that I've noticed here is that bamboo leaves in the snow biome tend to sometimes hide an Explorer Note. And this is another Mayan Note. Now notice that there isn't a ruin attached to this, or so you would think. Anyways, the coordinates are 18.1 by 37.9 for this particular note, but if we follow this cliff around and we go this way towards the west, you see this rock structure right here. Now, amongst these rocks that are snowed in, there's actually a ruin, but this time around, we don't have a note, so it is my guess that that ruin is kind of attached to this note, maybe, in some way. So we waited for the snowstorm to kind of go away because it does make things a bit more complicated when it comes to showing locations and the surrounding areas. So we're basically going to follow the mountain around towards the south this time around, and we're just going to stick to this cliff right here. If we keep following it around, we will see that we get this sort of area right here. So basically the portion of the mountain that kind of points to the other mountain right here. And if we look down, as you saw there, there's a ruin with another note from Mayan. This one is note number 15. And my location on the map is here. Of course, the GPS coordinates are 26.8 by 39.6. I'll leave this out for a bit longer so you guys can write it down. And then if we continue following the mountain all the way around, basically there's a river right there, there's a mountain right there with the blue obelisk, and if we keep following around we should come around to this structure right here. Now this is a cave entrance for the ice cave, but not far from it, to the right of it and to the left of it, we will have Explorer Notes. So you can see that cliff right there, but if we look to the right we see that there's this rock structure. So this is the cave entrance for the snow cave. We've got this sort of like iceberg thing that, you know, as if the ice has started to melt. And of course we have this rock right here, and right next to the rock we have a ruin that contains another note from Mayan. This one is note number 17. And I'm going to show you my location on the map as well. So this is where we are. As you can see, the river kind of does turn. So it does do a 90-degree turn. The coordinates are 28.0 by 33.9. Now what we're going to do is we're going to follow this ridge up here. And we're looking for a specific structure. You can see that right there. There's like a rock sticking out of that ridge. Trying to find ways of explaining this right now. Okay, right, we're looking towards that iceberg right there. That's what we're looking for. Yes, so there's a ridge lined up with that kind of goes down that way, and you can see that there's a little bit of a platform with a very tiny ruin on top of it. And we have another note from Mayan. This is Mayan note number 7. And this is where we are on the map. And of course, the GPS coordinates are 21.3 by 29.9. Okay, so from here, we're going to continue looking downwards. There is another ruin, but we're going to follow this ridge, basically. So this is... how do I explain this? So just basically, that's where we were before with that RG is. So we're going to look downwards towards the north and just head north. I think that's the best way of kind of explaining it, really. And then we look to the left right there. You can see that there's some trees, and underneath the trees there's another ruin. So this is where we were. We look downwards, follow this. It's like a little platform, I guess you can call it. You can see where the RG is. That's where we were before. And right there, there's just a tiny little pillar, very easy to miss. This is Mayan note number 4. And so my location on the map is there. And of course, the GPS coordinates are 19.7 by 30.0. Alright, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to follow the coast around. So we're going to follow the north coast. And we can see, like these. So that's the ice that we were looking at before. And basically just in front of it on the north coast, the area turns into like this sort of structure right there. Yeah, I think that's the first iceberg, basically. So we're going to use that as a point of reference. And you can see where the land kind of turns into these like upwards ridges and or like structures, whatever you want to call these bits of structure. I don't know the geographical terms for them. But there's like a little valley here with some crystal. And there's also a ruin that has another note. This one is the Ankylosaurus dossier. Of course, I'm going to show you my position on the map, and I'm also going to show you the GPS coordinates, and they are 15.7 by 26.6. Okay, so from here we're going to continue following the north coast. We're going to go this way a bit. So this is the iceberg that I was on about, and if you look this way and we follow it towards the mountain, we can see that there's oil veins right there, but there's also some kind of grass or snowed-in grass, but there's also a very small ruin and has a note. So basically from that iceberg we look towards the mountain with the obelisk, and we should see this area. The coordinates are 16.8 by 29.0. Now this time around we're going to go towards the west. So still following the north coast towards the west. We get to this little plateau here, so we can see that the ice has started to melt and fall away or float away, and right there in this corner there's a small ruin. It is a pillar. Again, we have another note from Mayan, and this time around this is where I'm at on the map, and the coordinates are 15.1 by 20.7. So from here we are going to continue with these nodes. We're going to follow the north coast once more. Actually, no, we're going to go to the top, or towards the top of the mountain. You can see right here there's like a path. It's not really clearly visible, but there is this really weird structure. I don't know if, yeah, I'm trying to show you. This is what we're looking for, basically, from that area that we were. And you can see there's a path. It's not very visible, but there are some trees here and there. We're looking for the last tree up the path, and to the left of it there are some rocks. Amongst the rocks we will have a note. This one does not have a ruin, so keep that in mind. That's basically why I use the tree as a point of reference. This one, of course, is a Helena note, and it is Helena note number 28. And so this is where we are right now on the map, and the coordinates are 22.2 by 23.4. We're going to go to the top of the mountain. Over here we have the summoning platform where we basically go for a boss battle. You can see that there's these, I would say, techie structures around. Now, one of these structures does have a note next to it. There's also a path that kind of goes down the mountain, so keep that in mind. From that, we're basically going to look to the right, and which one is it? I always get this one confused. Hold on a second. There it is. So it's this one right here. Okay, so yeah, it's the one opposite of the ocean. So if we look at the ocean right there, and then we look back on ourselves, we see that structure that is quite techy. So it's towards the red obelisk, basically. So this one is another explorer note from Helena. This is number 27. And the coordinates are, well, position on the map firstly. This is where we are. Coordinates are 25.9 by 25.6. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the center. We're going to follow, there's like a path that goes downward, so you can always follow that if you want. But there's this basically, that doesn't go downwards, but there's like a really weird archway, if that makes sense. You saw that structure. There's basically two stones kind of in a, I don't even know how to describe it, but you saw what I was looking at. If we follow this path down here, so it is a pathway, but it's a tricky one because you've got jumps and stuff. There's a ruin down there, and there's also this jump that we have to do. But if we look at the bottom of that section that we need to jump, we will see that there is a ruin. And so let me show you this right here. If we look down here, there's a ruin, and there's a note right there. So this would be one of the, I suppose, a normal pathway down the mountain from that particular obelisk. And this is the Gigantopithecus dossier. This is where we are on the map. The coordinates are 26.6 by 23.5. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get some altitude, or get some height. Where that drop is, around there, there is a ruin. So we're just going to go towards that direction. So that would be sort of southwest. You can see right there, this is the ruin that I was on about. And I used the drop as a rough point of reference. This is another one of Helena's notes. This is note number 24. Coordinates are 28.8 by 23.1. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to get some height so I can show you the surrounding area. This one is, well, it's easy to spot, but it is also a bit difficult to spot in the sense of it's well camouflaged, if that makes sense. So we're basically going to come to this cliff right here, to this ridge is what I meant. And if we look towards the west, we can see that there are a total of 4 icebergs, basically varying in sizes right there. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to go between the first and the second iceberg and head more towards the first iceberg down the mountain. Now right here to the right there is a ruin. I don't know if you spotted it. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. It is really well camouflaged, this one, despite the fact that it is I would say a fairly decent sized ruin. So blue obelisk, we're gonna go down this spike of the mountain, aiming towards the first iceberg, or in between the first and second iceberg. And over here, this is the ruin. It is amongst trees, so the pillars from the ruin do actually camouflage quite well with tree trunks. But as you can see right there is the explorer note. This is Mayan number 1. And this is where we are on the map right now. And of course, the GPS coordinates are 25.0 by 18.8. Okay, from here, we are going to go towards the first iceberg. You can see that there's that U shape right there. And right at the end of it, there's like this platform right here. So we're going to look for this platform to the right. So this is what we're on about. There's like a cliff type of structure. And right here in this corner right now, we have a explorer note with a ruin, another one of Mayan's explorer notes. This is explorer note number 5, and this is where I'm at the moment. The coordinates are 26.6 by 16.3. Now from here, we're going to look towards the west again. And what we're looking for is these icebergs. Yep, okay, so we can see that there is a total of 4 decently sized icebergs. We're going to head towards the third one. And this one's kind of funny because... Actually, no, we're going to follow the coast because there's another one right here. I just remembered. I just saw it now. So this one, again, does not have a ruin. I was getting ahead of myself there. This one is the Diplodocus dossier. So there's this one right here. I nearly forgot about it until I saw it. Coordinates are 25.0 by 13.4. Now, let's have a look at the icebergs. So, first iceberg, right there, second iceberg, right there, third iceberg, and fourth one in the distance. We are going for the, I think, it's that one right there, so it's the second iceberg. We can see some oil around it, but this one's quite interesting. So right at the back of it, there's a ruin, as you can see. But if we go around it, at the front of it, there is a crate containing another note. So this is where I'm at on the map. This is the second iceberg if we count from bottom to top. And the coordinates are 22.0 by 09.6. Now we're going to do the water caves. We start with the red obelisk. These two caves here are difficult to find from my perspective. I always do have to struggle a bit to find them, but you saw there we had the red obelisk in front of us. You kind of saw the rough coordinates. Now we know that there will be a water cave because there will be bubbles of air going towards the surface from the cave. So that's what we're looking for. That is the telltale sign that there is a cave there. So this is one of the ones I sometimes struggle to find because there's a lot of stuff going on. And I mean, obviously if you don't have tech gear, you won't see what it looks like as clearly as I am. The only reason you're seeing this the way you are is because of the tech stuff. So the way I do this is I tend to go towards the border of the map. So this is where we are right now. And somewhere around here, not far from the border with the red obelisk inside, there is an entrance into a water cave. So see if I can find it. Sometimes I do struggle to find this particular one. Alright, it's not this one. I mean, I can't really find, yeah, I struggle to find a specific landmark for this one. I think it might be around this way. This looks about right. There we go. We saw the bubbles. So these are the bubbles I was on about. It does get mighty dark. Okay. Oh, there's something in there. But you can see there's bubbles of air going towards the surface. I'm just going to have to gamma up here. I don't know what's going on. The entrance itself is not that great. Okay, we've got some ammonite. Oh, dude, there's a Tuso in here. That's interesting. That is well interesting. So, this is the first cave that we're going to cover. There's another one not far from this. This is so interesting. And these caves generally have 3 specific designs. You'll see this as we go through them. This one is in the upper left corner. So this one is the Lophosaur dossier from Helena. I did have to get them up so you guys can see what's going on. So this is where we are on the map, roughly speaking. Coordinates are 84.3 by 10.2. Another way of doing this is basically find the coordinates in the air, then just basically dive. But visual references, they're difficult to actually spot, especially for this one. Okay, so we have another cave right here, not far from the previous one. There's the red obelisk right there. So again, let me just get some altitude here. As I said, these are the ones that I struggle to find sometimes. So this is why I started with them, because the rest of them are fairly easy. There's reference points that I can show you. So let me show you where we are. Right there, this is where we are in relation to the red obelisk. You can see the river going in towards the swamp, which then leads towards the redwood forest. We can see the little island to the right where we started this whole journey, or this whole series. And if we dive down, we see this rock right here, which just spawned in. And we can see the bubbles going towards the surface, and that indicates that there we have an entrance into a cave. Okay, so let's find this particular... There we are. It's right in the center of this one. As you can see, these caves do have some good resources as well. This one is another Helena note. And just to give you a heads up, most of them will be Helena notes as well in these caves. So this one is Helena note number 4. And this is where we are on the map. The GPS coordinates are 90.6 by 13.1. Alright, so we are now on the west coast. Right there, so we're looking for that structure right there. Let me just show you where we are on the map. We can see that there's a river that kind of cuts off the landmass that has the red obelisk. So that's kind of another reference point. Over here, there are actually 2 caves. You can see the shadowy area with the oil going to the surface. That's where the cave that we want is. So I've noticed that they do spawn in when we get close to them. Other rocks are already spawned in, but if we follow this seaweed right here and we follow this cliff downwards, we will get to the entrance of a cave that actually has an artifact. I'm not going to cover it in this video, but I just wanted to show you this for reference. So if you found this, just follow it around to the left, and as you follow this cliff to the left, you get to this point right here. And if we look to the left about now, we can see this rock structure, and funny enough, the entrance is actually pointed towards the cave that contains the artifact. So we go in. This one is a bit dark. Let's see where this chest are. Now I don't know all of the chest locations here, so I do need to search them. There we go. It's kind of right there. We saw it. But this is what it looks like. As you can see. It does go all the way around. But right here, next to these spikes, is the chest that we are after. So this one is the Ant dossier. I'm not going to try and pronounce that name because, yeah, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to butcher it, so I don't want to do it. Here we are on the map, and coordinates are 49.2 by 11.0. Okay, this is where I am at. Basically, if you look at the map, remember I said there's 4 icebergs. Well, we are going to go underneath the 3rd iceberg. It looks like a U shape. And of course, the 4th one is the biggest one. So we're counting from the bottom of the page, or the map, to the top. That's the way I counted it. We are going to use the iceberg above us as a point of reference. So we're always going to be looking towards the top of the water. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? Anyways, so that is our reference. We don't want to go too far from this. We do need to search it because I don't remember roughly, but I know it's kind of just underneath it. So it's possible it is this rock. I just don't know where the entrance is. No, it can't be those right there. See, that's already too far. So that's, again, a good reference point to use. Oh, I can see the bubbles. So basically just follow the bubbles. It does help with locating the entrance into the cave. And technically we are actually underneath that iceberg that I showed you. So let's go inside. And yeah, okay. So this is, I think, the other model. So I think you saw all three models of the caves that we can find. They'll be exact copies of each other with a couple of details changed. Here we are on the map, and of course the GPS coordinates are 16.4 by 10.8. I'll leave this out for a bit. Okay, so this is where we found one of the artifacts right there. Underneath it, there is another cave. Of course, we're doing the water caves right now. So if we dive in, we can see there's like a structure right there. This is basically what we're going to use. You can see that little round rock with two pointy bits. That's what we are going to go for. Towards the far end, where that pointy bit is, that's where the entrance will be into the cave. I really didn't explain that nicely, but you guys got the idea. So you can see right there. And we're going to go inside. And hopefully don't snag on stuff. That would generally help. So this is what the cave looks like. And let's see how long it takes me before I find this particular note. I know it's here. And I should probably gamma up. It would probably help me a great deal. There's the note right there. Again, I showed you this is... I showed you what this model looks like. You can actually come out this way. So it is, I'd say, a decent PvP type of base. Although most people build here, people have ways of getting in. So probably... it could be a good PvE base as well. But let's go and pick up that note. Let me just gamma up so you guys can see what's going on. So cave note is right there. It's kind of well camouflaged, but this is what the cave looks like. And as you can see, sometimes they can be difficult to spot. This one is the trilobite. And it is, of course, a dossier. So the location on the map is here. And, of course, I'm going to show you the coordinates. They are 10.9 by 22.0. Now, remember that river, that waterfall that we found the artifact under? Right in front of it, there is another cave. Of course, it is going to be a underwater cave. So we're just going to dive downwards. We can see this... really weird cliff structure, so we're gonna use that as a point of reference. As we make our way towards the north, we can see things popping in. There's also a little loot crate that you can find here, but right underneath it there is a cave. And the box is at the end of this particular cave, so let's go and pick this up. So this one is the Carbonemus dossier, or the turtle dossier. And this is where we are on the map. It's basically just under my finger. Coordinates are 10.9 by 40.4. So in front of me is Carno Island. And I'm basically in the corner of the map, so to speak. As you can see right there, this is where I am on the map. We're basically going to use that little island and Carno Island and kind of align ourselves with it. We can see this pillar going upwards, and if we go to the bottom, you can see that rock right there. It's literally in the corner of the map, and this is a good reference as well to use. So that pillar going towards the surface. The entrance, I believe, is here on the side. It's kind of shadowed out so you can see it. Also bear in mind there's lots of bad stuff down here, but that's a different thing. You can see bubbles going up. Sometimes the bubbles don't really spawn until you're quite close to them. So I'm just going to gamma up so you guys can see what I'm doing and what the entrance looks like. It isn't all that big. And right here at the top, we can see what the cave looks like. And this one is right there in front of that pillar. So this one is Helena Note number 1, and my location on the map, like literally in the corner, and the coordinates are 08.4 by 90.8. I did make a mistake there when reading out the coordinates, my apologies. Now we are going around the coast. We can see the mountain in front of us, so that is one of the first mountains that we did go and check out for explorer notes. If we dive underneath towards the outer edge, we can see these it's almost like some really weird underwater structures. So just trying to use, I suppose, the background that I'm trying to show you, but you can see right there bubbles coming up. So that's what we're looking for. That indicates there's a water cave. This one might be a bit dark, so I might have to gamma up. Alright, I'm going to go this way. And as we float around, I'm hoping to see the note. It's right there. And this one is a explorer note for the Titanoball. And this is where we are on the map. And of course, the GPS coordinates are 36.0 by 92.0. So right in front of us is the swamp. There's actually 2 caves here. There is the cave where you can build a base, and of course there's also an underwater cave that contains some artifacts that we can pick up. Now, if we dive downwards, there's that pillar going towards the surface. We're going to go towards the edge of the map. And as we go towards the edge of the map, we can see things popping in. There's that round rock right there with an oil vein on top of it. And the entrance is actually from the side facing the swamp. As we go in, this one's actually a bit brighter, but this time around the explorer note is here at the bottom. It's not on that rampy bit. This one is of course the dossier for the T-Rex. So this is where we are on the map, and the coordinates are 53.1 by 92.4. Right in front of us is Herbivore Island, and we are kind of looking towards the green obelisk. Again, we are in the other corner of the map. We're going to dive down. You can see that shadowy area. That's where we're going. It's basically in the corner as with the previous one. And as we get close to it, we'll see bubbles going towards the surface. It is a bit difficult to spot with that light in front of us. I kind of wish that wasn't a thing when we do use the tech suit underwater. I feel like that shouldn't be a thing. Anyways, when we go into the cave, this one's quite easy to spot. It's not that well hidden. So we'll go and pick up this note. And as you can see, this is the Triceratops dossier from Helena. And let me just pop out the map. As you can see, we are in this corner of the map right now. I think there's another 3 more caves to go through. 87.4 by 91.0 are the coordinates for this particular cave and note. Next up, we can see the green obelisk. That's Herbivore Island, and of course the ocean turns into a river in front of us. We're going to head towards the red obelisk, but this is the rough area that we want to be in. We're going to dive downwards. We can see these kind of structures, so it's kind of like a upside down U type of cliff. We're going to go towards the bottom of the water of the ocean, and remember, we're looking for bubbles. So it's in this direction towards the outer perimeter of the map, or towards the edge of the map is better said. And you can see right there, it just popped in. We can see normally the shadow of the stone or cliff or rock face. That will be a cave. It tends to take a while to pop in. So that's kind of like what we're looking for. So it's somewhere around here. I'm not quite sure. There we go. That's where the entrance is. So let's go inside and show you this particular cave. Some of these can be a bit dark and can make it a bit difficult to find and see stuff. So you might want to bring a light source when you do kind of go down here. So this one is in this corner right here. We can see the Explorer note. I do hope that you guys off mobile devices such as tablets and phones can see it, because I haven't gammed up, so I do apologize for that. But this is where we are, and of course the coordinates are 91.0 by 71.2. I'll leave this out for a bit longer. Of course, this is the exact coordinate of the crate containing the note. Now, we're getting close to the red obelisk. I think this is possibly the last cave. And so this is what it looks like underwater. We're going to go towards that structure right there. And of course, head towards the outer edge of the map. So I'm just kind of showing you what the area around looks like. And you can see where the shadow is right there. That's basically where we're going. Right there. As we go towards, it'll pop in. And we should start seeing the bubbles that indicate the entrance into the cave. It's kind of down here anyways. So it is facing the mainland. And of course, by that I'm referring to the entrance into this particular cave. Once we go in, we can see, again, we have oil, crystal, and silica pearls. And towards the column in the center of it, or back end of it, we have another note from Helena. And this is where I'm at. This is the last water cave that does have one of these notes in. The coordinates are 90.9 by 36.1. And that is pretty much it for this particular video, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you like these kinds of videos and find them useful, please don't forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button and leaving a comment. It does help out the algorithm quite a great deal. Until next time, stay safe, folks.